What's up, people? Welcome to Spoiler Alert for Game of Thrones Season 5. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by only one person, Mr. Carlos Romero.
For the watch.
All right. Yes, man. Okay, so first things first, apologies to the people who've been asking for the show. There was some technical bullshit with the episode you recorded, right, Carlos? Like some shit happened, it didn't get uploaded or something.
Yeah, apparently something went wrong. Something got corrupted, maybe.
Yeah, and then it happens, and then Rachel and Brett couldn't make it because they're both fucked up with headaches because Kansas is just horrible. Like there's some weird wind pressure going on, and it's just giving them these horrible migraines, so they couldn't make it. But the show must go on, so we are here with you guys. So we're gonna just talk about season 5 in general. I don't really have any show notes. We're just gonna fucking wing it, go wherever we're gonna go. Okay, and I'm just gonna say it now because I really don't want to restrain myself here. I'm going to talk a lot about books, so just keep that in mind. It's going to happen.
We're pretty much caught on.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So, yeah, because we're all at the same place now. So going into this season, and I said this off air after we recorded the last episode of the previous season, I was like, I'm very worried about this season because books 4 and 5, Feast for Crows, Dancing with Dragons, boring. They're boring. There's no big colored wedding. There's no big major deaths or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, the show's either gonna be really boring, or they're gonna have to make up a lot of shit. They went the other route. They made up a lot of shit that didn't happen in the books. And on the one hand, it upset me because you're steering away from the books, but on the other hand, those books were boring. So it's a weird place to be in. It's like I'm upset, but I'm also glad they changed some shit just to make it an interesting television show. What do you think about the season overall before we get into the nitty-gritty?
It was pretty interesting. I kind of agree with you. I wouldn't say it was boring, those last 2 books. I would say they were kind of like transitional books. They were more slow paced. They're more detailed. You get to, a lot of the descriptions were of what people were eating and what places smelled like and stuff like that. So I understand that part. But I kind of didn't like the aspect that everything seemed kind of rushed.
Yes.
You could tell it's 2 books crammed into one season. The last was season 3 and season 4 were just one book. Granted, it was a pretty huge book, but A Dance with Dragons and Feast for Crows is pretty substantial sized books. And I don't know, the whole Dorne stuff was oddly rushed, and we kind of, at the end, we knew what the whole purpose of Dorne was in the TV show sense, at least. And there was a whole lot of other plot lines that were cut off, some stuff that was kind of rushed. But I will say I did like the season, except for some, a few 2-3 episodes kind of right before the end.
Yeah, I guess we could start talking about that because you said because it's 2 books essentially condensed into one season. There's still some story, like everything with Victarion, the I'm forgetting the name of the place they live in, where
Iron Islands.
The Iron, all that shit is gone. Everything, you're right, everything was rushed, but at the same time, imagine if they would have stuck closer to the books. That'd be pretty boring television. Because the thing is, I read an interview with George R. R. Martin. Like, this is why those books are slow, because he said he never liked the fact that in a typical fantasy book, somebody becomes a ruler, and then they're like, okay, they're a just ruler. And he was like, that always bothered him. Like with Lord of the Rings, like it literally said Aragorn, he became king and he was just. And he was like, wait, so what happens if 2 nobles have a dispute? How does he settle, territory issues with orcs? Like, he wanted to get into the nitty gritty of that. And in the books, he did that with Daenerys and Jon specifically. They became rulers. And Queen Cersei too, she became a ruler, and he showed the nitty gritty behind it. So while it wasn't exciting, I did like that, and the show kind of missed that. And it's funny because the show actually did show that sort of stuff before, like how the sausage was made. But in this one, he's kind of rushed through all that shit. So I don't, like I said, it's a weird thing because on the one hand, I wasn't too fond of the books, but I kind of would have liked more of them to be in there. Like, it just seemed like they tried to throw too many aha moments. Like, they try to have a red wedding every episode. It's like, you don't need that really. So it was just in that sense, it was very as a book reader. I'm wondering, this is why I wanted Rachel and Brett to be on. I wonder what it's like to watch it as a non-book reader, because apparently even they were like, nah, I don't know about this season. You know,
I
some
don't know.
some of some of the non-book readers, you know, they're like they were iffy about it.
From what I've seen, a lot of people liked the beginning. They liked how it started. They some of the scenes, of course, the PC police came into the whole rape scene with Sansa, and I mean, we'll get into that. But
Oh yeah,
um, I think it was kind of a consensus that that Dorne episode where Bronn and Jamie got into a fight like out of nowhere with the Sand Snakes was the worst episode probably of the season. But the hard home stuff that I mean that was one of the best TV shows I've ever seen ever. That
dude.
was that's the Walking Dead episode I've always wanted. That's the Walking Dead episode I've always wanted. And the next episode, the one with Dance with Dragons, was I liked it. It was really really good, and the finale was good. So it started off solid. It went down dramatically, and then it kind of lifted itself up just before the season ended, in my opinion.
Yeah, those last three episodes are pretty like even though they steered away from the books, they were actually as television goes, dude. Hard Home, oh holy shit! Like that dude. That was I'm watching this. I'm like, this is a straight up movie now. Like holy shit, man!
And that was episode 8.
Yeah, that was episode ridiculous. It's insane, and that's the thing. It's funny you bring up Walking Dead. Walking Dead can never replicate that because their walkers are always, the slow. These guys, they fucking run. They all run. You know, even if it's only half of them, they run. They don't give a fuck.
That shit was crazy.
But I read this editorial, and I kind of agree with it. They said that the TV show does a better job of showing you the actual threat of White Walkers than the books do. You know.
Yeah, the White Walkers in the books, I mean, yes and no, because if you remember in the books, we have the battle at the Fist.
Yeah,
we didn't get in the books, which was granted it wasn't the point of view as it happened, but it was a kind of a point of view as a recollection of what happened. And that's when I felt the threat was like the biggest, but then after that it kind of silenced back down until Hardhome in the books.
Yeah, but here's but Hardhome didn't happen in the books like that, you know.
Well, it happened, but John wasn't there.
John wasn't there. It happened. Yeah, like you didn't see it.
That's right, we didn't see it. Yeah,
like yeah, you're right. It did happen, but you didn't see it. But the thing is, think about it like this: when they had the whole thing at the Fist of the First Men. That's actually very far up north.
Right.
Hardhome is like, what is it, like 100 miles away from the freaking wall? They're almost there. You could practically smell them. They're right there. So the threat is very much real. But yeah, that particular episode was great. I want to talk. We're gonna skip around. We don't need to be formal about this. I want to skip to Tyrion real quick, because his storyline got way pushed forward. Like it got condensed. They cut out some shit. We don't need to get into that what they cut out, but they skip some shit. And then when he meets Daenerys, that's when it gets interesting because I'm like, wait, we're seeing book 6 shit now, aren't we? Because that actually makes perfect sense that he would become an advisor. You know?
Yeah,
and yeah.
I thought because we know in the books. Tyrion's pretty much taking the place of another character.
Yeah.
Who's dead. But yeah, I like those scenes. I liked how like we kind of struggle by knowing what Tyrion's motivation is because he tells Daenerys, he's like, "Do you really want to take over Westeros?" And I'm just thinking, so are they gonna go back to Westeros? Is Dany gonna want to take over Westeros?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because Tyrion's really smart, and I don't know if he's saying it just to test her or he's saying it because that's what he really thinks.
No, I think Tyrion, he knows, because remember, he was the hand of the king. He knows the ins and outs of Westeros. He's probably like, you don't really need to rule that place. You should probably just stay here. I think he was being genuine about that. That's the thing about Tyrion. I mean, he has been known to lie, obviously, but, he is truthful more often than not. But yeah, here's the thing. Comparing it to the book, I actually kind of enjoyed his arc a little more in the show than I did in the book, because in the book it kind of seemed like he was listless, like he didn't have much of a motivation, like he was just like, where do whores go? Like that was his only thing that he kept asking the entire time.
You don't like the whole Syvas part? him playing Cyvest with everybody in that river part. Well,
Well,
actually,
I mean that was cool, but I kind of wish they kept that. By the way, but I'm talking about just the way, like he just seemed very unmotivated. I mean, in the show he was too at the beginning because he just wanted to fucking drink.
right.
But as soon as Jorah kidnapped him, that's when we started seeing Tyrion again. Like his best weapon is his fucking mouth. You know, like when those sellswords they found him, like they were ready to chop his dick off. You know, and he convinced them just through words. Like there you
Like
go, and
mountain
then
plans.
yeah. Exactly. And then that's how we got into Daenerys' good grace. He talked. You know, the guy is very smart. And I love that whole interaction between her and him because she kept going, why should I kill you? Why should I kill you? You know, and he kept convincing her why. He's like, because I'm like, I knew I ruled Westeros essentially. I know what the fuck I'm doing. You'd be stupid to kill me.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole how they left him off? He's gonna stay in Marine to conquer with Grey Worm and Missandei. I wonder. Oh, and Varys is
He
back too.
Varys is back. So I guess he's very. I was thinking about the book, the way that book ended. I guess that may not happen until next season. You know, with Kevin Lannister.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I not lost my track. Oh yeah, so let's just keep it honest. He is taking the place of Barristan Selmy because Barristan Selmy was not supposed to fucking die. He's supposed to still be alive. I didn't like that at all, man. That pissed me off. Like, come on, you're gonna kill this guy, really? And it felt like they did that shit for shock value.
He was the link to all the stories of the past.
He
That's where
really
we're getting
was.
everything. So I guess we're gonna get it through Varys or someone else next couple of seasons, or probably Bran. But yeah, I wonder what my thing is, why are they still in Marine? Like I just want them to leave. I love these characters. I know they'll work in any place they go to, but why Marine?
Well, Daenerys isn't in the Marine anymore.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Drogon, man, he got fucking huge. By the way, that was another episode. Holy fucking shit. That
Yeah,
show was like
man.
Gladiator with a dinosaur. It was fantastic. Man, I don't know where they got the money for this shit. It's like, damn, this is movie quality stuff, you know? But yeah, Drogon, he's been missing the entire season. He shows up, you know, he gets fucking that hurt me, by the way, seeing the dragon getting all fucked up like that.
Yeah, man. And he flew all the way to what is it, the Dothraki Sea? That's
Yeah.
pretty far.
Yeah, that is far. Yeah, Vastal Thrak or whatever. He flew all the way out there. And I guess he still kind of sort of listens to Daenerys when he wants to.
Yeah,
You know,
someone told me, he's like, I don't know if you've seen Pokemon, but like the anime, but he's
he's
like,
Charizard. He's
it's
Charizard.
Charizard.
He is
Yeah.
Charizard. He listens sometimes, but most of the time he doesn't. He does what the fuck he wants. He'll just burn you, you know? He is
Yeah.
Charizard. I never thought about you. He is Charizard. That's funny. Since we're talking about it, let's talk about Daenerys's arc because I kind of felt she was a little bit all over the place this season, man. Like
Yeah.
like she was like, no, we're not gonna open the slave pits. She like sacrifices a guy basically to one of her dragons, you know, adamant. We're not opening the slave pits, and then she fucking kills this one dude in public. It's like, bitch, like they're gonna riot. What's wrong with you? You know, and then she changes her mind because she got married to what's his face. And yeah, I don't know,
His
man.
star.
Yeah, his dark dude. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I liked Daenerys very much this season. She was just all over the place. She seemed very indecisive, but maybe that was the point. You know, maybe it's like, hey, she's a good person, but she's an inept ruler. Maybe that's what they were trying to put out. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess this is like how to rule a kingdom 101. This is supposed to be like her college or her training to be the queen of Westeros.
Yeah, she's fucking
And
it up.
yeah, she's fucking it horribly up. I mean, that guy, one of the guys he burned in with the dragons, man. I'm like, damn. He I don't even know if he did anything wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, going back to what Martin said, and that's why I said she's a good person because he said he never liked it when it's like, hey, they're a good person, they'll be a good ruler. No, that's not how it works. Same thing with Jon Snow. He's a good person. Jon Snow may be a different case because he is a good ruler. It's just the people under him don't trust him. But we'll get to him later on. But yeah, Daenerys, I wasn't feeling her this season. She was just too wishy-washy all over the place. I didn't know what her exact motivation was other than, you know, trying to keep things together, but just having everything just fall apart on her.
Yeah, she doesn't really trust her convictions. She's like soft on some stuff and then she's hard on some other stuff and then she switches it around and they kill Barristan and then she changes her mind and yeah, it's she's all over the place. I think she'll get better, but I just wonder what she's gonna do with the Dothraki people, like
Yeah.
the Khalasar that's just passing by.
Yeah, because even Tyrion asked her, it's like, do you actually rule this place? Because she kind of doesn't. It's a madhouse. Like she's only in her little ivory tower because she's surrounded by all the unsullied, basically. No one I don't think anyone really takes her serious, not anymore. She fucked it. She like I said, when she killed that guy publicly, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like you just ruined everything for yourself.
Not even a trial.
Not even try. She just murdered him. It's like, come on, man, fucked up. So I wasn't feeling her thing. Speaking about queens, to switch over to Cersei. She had a very interesting arc this season, man. And I think it was one of those cases where you felt satisfaction because Cersei's such a bitch, like one of the horriblest people out there, and she finally got what was coming to her. You know, I wasn't feeling sorry for her at all. She deserved all that shit, especially because of the faith militant, she's the one that put him in power. That's the ironic part, you know?
Yeah, she just doesn't know what she's doing. She does everything out of emotion. She doesn't look at the end game. She doesn't see the ramifications of her putting the Faith Militant in charge. She doesn't see the ramifications of, cutting off Ned Stark's head, like
Yeah.
letting freaking what's his name? I already forgot his name. Her son,
Joffrey.
Joffrey, letting Joffrey kill Ned Stark, pretty much, or you know, treating other people badly, or fucking her cousin. or when her cousin comes back as a faith militant crazy dude, and then she's like, "Yeah, he'll probably stay quiet about what happened between us."
Stupid.
And I'm like, "Come on! Like, are you smart? Do you have any intelligence? Did freaking Tywin leave you anything?"
Yeah, but excuse me, it goes to show just how arrogant she is. Because think about it, she's always had her way her entire life, so she just assumed everything was going to work out. Like, oh yeah, the faith militant, they look for sinners, but they're not going to look for me. Like she honestly thought that way, you know. Or Lancel, he's not going to say nothing, and look what happened. Because her whole thing was, I don't even remember why the fuck did she even bring the faith militant? Was it just to get at Marjorie?
Yeah, she felt like the Tyrells were taking too much hold of King's Landing, and then she's like, "Oh well, I better get people who are on my side."
Yeah,
quote unquote.
but the problem is the guy who runs, the Sparrows. That guy's like that dude has his convictions on lock, man. Even Lady Olenna couldn't sway this man because she's used to dealing with people that could be corrupted. Not my man. My man was like, nope, you get the fuck out of here. I got some cleaning to do.
I gotta give people some shoes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. So Cersei fucked up bad, and then she paid the price. She had to confess one sin. She didn't confess the sin.
Right.
That she fucked her brother. Yep. So they strode around through the streets, and that was different from the books too, because like in the book they described it as like she, like everybody always like said, oh, Cersei's this beautiful angelic woman. And then the book like, yo, she's actually really fucked up. She's like 35 and she had 3 kids. She's all fucked up. Lena Headey, obviously perfect body.
I thought you were gonna say, oh no, actually that wasn't Lena Headey's body. That was CGI.
What, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was just her face.
Wow, she used to get naked too. What happened? Remember fucking
300,
yeah. Man, perfect body.
I thought you were gonna say a joke about how it's different from the books because in the books they don't use a CGI body.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know it was a CGI body. Damn, they really spend money on this fucking season. Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So what happened to the Tyrells, the ones that are imprisoned, Marjorie and Loras?
I'm throwing up my hands. I have absolutely no idea. They're still in prison, I guess. And King Tommen couldn't do shit. Like that shows you the power of like the faith militant, even the fucking king. And by the way, Tommen, man.
Yes.
Let's talk about Tommen, man. What an inept fucking king. Like seriously, what a big pussy. This is be honest.
And I understand that in the books, he almost does the same thing in the books, but in the books, he's a freaking infant.
Yes, it makes sense. He's like fucking like 7 or something.
In the show, he's like what, 13, 14?
Yeah, I mean, he was fucking Marjorie all night long. Remember that shit? He's like,
man.
4 times in one night. But then, he's still like a mama's boy, basically, 'Cause let's just be real. Joffrey wouldn't stand for that shit. He would have all those faith militant killed,
Yeah, that's when you want Joffrey on your side. Yeah.
Tommen is too soft, man. He can't. Another example. He's a good person, but he's inept. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, he was pretty much poised to be freaking Tywin's pawn since like he got into power, and then Tywin died, and then she's stuck with crazy mom and Marjorie, whatever she is.
Yeah. So yeah, Tommen, man. So yeah, his woman's in jail. So is what's his face? Her brother. Damn, I don't know how they're gonna get out of that. In the book, they got out of it though. I remember. I think they did, right? I don't remember now.
Yeah, I mean, even Marjorie's charges are pretty minor compared to Loras and
Loras, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so, it's a big offense at Westeros. It's not actually a big. You go to Westeros, they'll be like, "Oh, he's fucking men. Whatever. Who cares?" They won't give a shit. Yeah, like
or Dorne.
Or Dorne. Dorne, they don't give a fuck. Good segue. Let's talk about Dorne. Dorne was. I don't know if I like the whole Dorne thing. I don't think I liked it. Yeah,
I didn't like it either.
I'll be honest, I didn't like it at all. Actually, the only thing I liked about Dorne was seeing what's her face's tits. Fantastic tits, man.
The young sand snake, the smallest one.
The roundness, man. The nipples, perfect. I liked the fight with Bronn and Jaime against the soldiers. That was pretty fun. I hated the fight with the sand snakes. That seemed like a fucking parody of a fight. That was the show always has these fights that make you feel like somebody's gonna fucking die. Not that one. This is a fucking joke. It was. It's
coordinated.
Yeah, it was too coordinated. Exactly.
Yeah, and then I mean, the whole even Doran was like he said like 10 words the whole season. Doran Martell.
Man, I got some.
Or Doran or whatever they call him. It's Doran.
Yeah, I call him Doran. And by the way, I hate the fact that my man Bashir from DS9 is fucking Doran Martell, and he's like doesn't do shit. The cool thing is in the book, right? He was like that too. Like he was like, I'm like, yo, I don't like this guy. He's a fucking asshole. And then he reveals his master plan. It's like, oh shit, this dude is the fucking he's the tactician. But in the show, he didn't do any of that. He didn't reveal his hand. The only time you saw him assert himself is when he told what's her face like, yo, you pull that shit again, I'm gonna have you killed. You watch out, don't cross me.
And she did, at least we think she did.
Son, she did cross him. When she kissed her, I'm like, oh shit, I know what's going on.
Man, and I guess my feeling is this whole Dorne saga was the whole purpose of it was just to get Jaime's scene at the end with Marcella or Marcella. I think so.
It was only there that and to give Bronn something to do.
Yeah, which is a good thing to get. That guy is pretty awesome.
Fucking great. I like the scene with Marcella because she was like, "Oh, I've always known," but then she ends up maybe dying.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. I kind of felt I'm like, man, I was like, I kind of hope it doesn't lean away where it's sexual or something, because those Lannisters, who knows what the hell.
Hey, you never know, man. And that girl's looking pretty too. You never know, man.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, man. Thank God he's just talking about him being his dad or her dad.
Yeah, man. It was pretty funny how he tried to explain it, just bumbling away. He's like, oh, when people like each other, you can't really choose who they like. And he's like, I know you're my father. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man. So now she's probably maybe dead, and
she doesn't have the antidote. What's her face? She had to take the antidote right away because she started bleeding too.
Yeah, Laria.
Yeah, Laria. And my man Ario Hota didn't do shit, man.
I was waiting for shit, man.
He punched Bronn in the face once, and that was it.
Yeah, and they. He's a badass in the books, man. I kind of you didn't see anything from him. I hope they kind of expanded him, his character more. And if you notice the whole Dorne stuff, they it seemed like Dorne was composed of like 10 people, like the whole place.
Yo, for real, man. Like
They
they,
didn't
they
even
had
say
the,
that. They
like
didn't
they had
even
the
say they were in
water garden.
Sunspear.
Yeah, they had the water gardens, and it was like 3 dudes in there. Insane.
Yeah, man.
Let's move on to Sansa. Let's talk about Sansa. You know,
Mm,
see, that's another one. I didn't like her character development because I thought it was going to go somewhere interesting. She seemed like she was learning from Littlefinger, right? And then
yeah.
she becomes Sansa from season 1 all over again. She's trapped in this castle with this horror. This Ramsay. Ramsay is somehow worse than fucking Joffrey. It's insane.
Oh, I wouldn't say that because they sent Sansa up, and I mean he's horrible, but then freaking Joffrey, they send her a horror up, and he kills her. So
Yeah.
you might be.
That-
Oh no, actually, no, actually, yeah, I think Ramsey's worse because of
Ramsay's
games he
worse.
plays. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like Joffrey killed that whore, right? But that was one night. If it was Ramsay, he'd keep her around for months or years, torturing her.
yeah, that's true.
So yeah, the whole Sansa thing, like I said, like I'm not completely different from the book, by the way. It's completely and utterly different. But I thought it was interesting. I love the scene with Littlefinger. Like he bumps into Brienne in the bar, and like he just knew exactly what to say every single time. It's like, dude, you just meet her and you know exactly pop 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 pop.
Yeah.
And then Brienne, she went to go follow Sansa, and then I find it funny. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. How she's waiting at that fucking window, right? Waiting for Sansa to light that shit. Then when Sansa lights it, she goes off to kill fucking Stannis.
Some Ex Machina shit.
Yeah, but
What kind
going
of
back a
reverse
little,
Ex Machina?
yeah, going back a little bit. Let's talk about the most controversial thing that happened, this season, the rape scene. I wasn't that shocked by it. It's Game of Thrones. This is what happens. This is fucking Ramsay. What were you expecting?
Yeah.
Tenderly make love to her? No, he's gonna fucking rape her.
Yeah, people are saying, so what purpose does this scene serve? Like, what is it? I mean, sometimes you just don't need a purpose. It's just what happened in this world.
Here's the thing. I agree with them on that point. It didn't serve any purpose, but at the same time, this is Game of Thrones. We have to show it. And that was
And they
technically
didn't show it.
they didn't. That's the thing. You just saw Reek's face. That's it. That's all you saw. I heard some people complaining about that. They didn't like the fact that he became like a hero to her, because he essentially did become a hero. He saved her in the end. Some people were complaining about that, but the thing is, the show and the series is known for that. Look what happened to Jamie. He redeemed himself, and I guess now they're trying to redeem Theon too.
Yeah,
And
we'll see how they do that.
yeah, we'll see. But I think seeing Sansa reawakened the real him, not just Reek. He became Theon again. Because say what you will, he still sees Sansa as his sister. He grew up with her. So I'm pretty sure that awakened something in him. And then, seeing her, actually going back, when she said, I want to get out of here or die while there's still a piece of me in me, I think that triggered something in him because he felt like he's completely gone now. He's not Theon anymore. He's Reek. I think hearing Sansa say that, he's like, no, I got to stop this. So that's why he threw what's-her-face off the fucking balcony.
Miranda.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I find it interesting that then he throws himself and Sansa off the fucking ramparts. It's like, I know there's snow, but holy shit.
So there could be, in my mind, there's one of two scenarios when they jumped off the ledge. Either the snow is freaking hard as hell because it's freaking freezing there, so they just freaking break everything, or that, or that, what is it? That sacrifice that Stannis made so the snow would melt the snow that's there too.
Yeah, but the thing is,
So
I figured the only way they would survive, and it's still stretching the imagination, is if that snow was really soft. That's the only way.
yeah,
But it's still, you just got to suspend your imagination, your belief a lot for that. Like, look how fucking high they were, man.
yeah, but they're gonna survive. They're gonna
Of course,
survive.
of course, of course. And then let's talk about the other big. Actually, let's stick with Stannis because Stannis, he he took his army, out of the Castle Black and stuff. By the way, I found the scenes with Stannis and Jon very interesting because you could tell Stannis respects Jon, and he obviously really respected Ned Stark. That's the thing about Stannis. Stannis may be like a cold guy, but he is honorable in his way. You know, he does what he thinks is right. So he had a lot of respect for Ned Stark, and he told him, he was like, "Hey, Jon, let's go avenge your father." You know, father.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, he eventually goes off to Winterfell. Then there's just all this fucking snow, and you know, Melisandre's like, "Hey, we got to sacrifice King's blood." And of course, he was like, "I'm not sacrificing my fucking daughter," but he eventually does, and that's the other big controversy of the season. He burned Shireen.
Man,
What do you
that
think
shit
about
was
that?
sad, man. I, it was a hard scene to watch, to be honest. I'm not really like that what is it, squeamish, or I kind of see everything, but that was probably the hardest thing I ever had to see in Game of Thrones. I like the way she screamed, she was doing a really good job, that actress.
Yeah, it's just screams, man. That's what fucking did it. It's like, damn, man, shit. Like, it wasn't hard for me to watch it, but it was at the same time, it was like, damn, this is fucked up, you know. And then for the first time, you actually saw, you know, I'm forgetting her name, her mother actually break down because the whole time, she was just like, you know, I don't even care about you, you know, whatever. And then she finally broke down, you know,
She always talks shit about her.
always talking shit. But I guess seeing her burned alive changed her mind. Now, see, that scene annoyed me for a couple of reasons, though. I forgot who it was, but somebody said like, "Hey, if you burn your daughter, you're gonna lose half your men." And Stannis does that. What annoys me is Stannis in the book says that shit.
Yeah.
Because you know, Melisandre was like, "Hey, we got to burn your daughter." He's like, "Are you fucking crazy? I'm gonna have half the men desert me." And that's what happens. Of course, they're going to desert him. You see, okay, think about it. You see your king burn his daughter alive. You're going to be like, this guy's fucking crazy. I'm out. You know?
If you remember, they even in the books they lost men because he was burning other people.
Exactly. They were like, no, this is insane. We're not, you know, because half of them, they believe in the Lord of Light. The other half are just, they believe in the faith or whatever it is. He's like, dude, you can't be burning people like that. So that whole thing was, yeah, and I felt it was done for shock value because it didn't happen in the books, obviously.
The Shireen thing.
Yeah, that didn't happen in the books at all.
Well, one thing I don't remember where they said it, but
Shireen wasn't even with him. She's still back
right.
in Castle Black.
Well, I don't know how much in detail. Well, fuck it. So
Say it, man.
what I've heard that what people a lot of people are saying is that supposedly George Martin told the showrunners that this will happen, that Shireen is going to get sacrificed, and that's why they did it in the show.
That's not what I read. I read that he gave permission to do it. That's what I read. But I don't know if permission means it's going to happen because in the books, he's still bogged down in the snow.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen later or what's going to happen with that storyline. I mean, for all intensive purposes, Stannis is dead in the show as far as what we kind of assume, but
yeah,
they show it.
They didn't show it. Let's talk about that because that's the scene that got me kind of angry. I'm like, you just killed Stannis. Actually, let's go back a little bit. That scene, the way they set it up, was really. I'm failing the words here, but the scene where Stannis and his army, no horses, just dudes walking. They're walking, and it's like, okay, the siege starts tonight. And like, sir, there's not going to be a siege. And you saw all those sellswords that were in his army come at him. It's like, oh fuck, and you're like, there's no way he's going to win, and there wasn't a way. They surrounded him and took his ass out.
Aragon did the same thing in the Battle of the Gates of Mordor, man. It's the same scene.
Yeah,
but,
with no eagles here.
No eagles in this place.
Oh,
but yeah,
going back a little bit. So Stannis' wife, they found her hanging, right?
Yeah.
Here's where it gets interesting, because people are speculating this. Did she do it herself, or was it Reek's men that did that shit? Because remember, they were already fucking with them beforehand.
Ramses?
Yeah, Ramses' men.
Well, that's what I assumed at the beginning. Like when I first saw it, I'm like, damn, who got her? Like, I'm like, that's fucked up. But then everybody, like, kind of like a mainstream consensus was that she hanged herself.
Yeah, no, I think it was Ramsey's men. I think they and during the middle of the night, it's like, hey guys, I hear some more money. Let's get the fuck out of here. You know, because they're sellswords. They're gonna go to the highest bidder.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of yeah the the 20 men that Ramsey took. You're talking about them, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm talking about those guys. They did some shit. Trust me, and I'm pretty sure they hanged her.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that someone like did it to her, but then everyone was saying she hung herself, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it could be possible since she showed emotion when they killed her daughter, but I still, from her character, the way that she's been portrayed the whole series, you just don't see that. So don't see her doing that.
Yeah, so that's why I think she was killed. Oh, going back a little bit, I actually like the way it was set up because remember Melisandre was like, "Hey, if you listen to me, everything will work out," and it has worked out. Every time he listens to her, it all works out. You know, so when you know the snow started melting and it seemed like okay, everything's going in our favor. Snow's melted, we could move on. Oh, by the way, half the men deserted. Oh, by the way, your wife is dead. Oh, by the way, there's not going to be a seat. Just like, damn, everything just went southhill. And Melisandre, the look on her face, like, fuck, I picked the wrong side. Let me get out of here. Like
Yeah,
that,
to me, she was
yeah,
like she saw. I mean, I guess what I'm assuming is she saw the real Azor Ahai or whatever her. I mean, I don't know if in the show if they've mentioned this name, but the chosen one, whatever. Like I'm pretty sure she saw who it was, and my guess is Jon Snow, and she went back. That's
yeah. I think she probably did that after the fact, but I think before that, when just somebody made a gif out of it too. It's like that looked like, oh shit, I've been wrong this entire time. You know, she had that look about her. So yeah, Stannis, he got killed by Brienne, and she was like, "I'm here to avenge Renly. I know you killed him with the shadow." And Stannis didn't deny that shit either, because again, he's an honorable guy. He's not gonna lie. He's like, "Yep, that was me."
do your
And
duty.
yeah, and she quote unquote killed him. We didn't see the shit cut out. We don't know what happened. Um,
I
but
mean, we don't. I like. Can anyone see a way where Brienne doesn't kill him, unless someone like interferes?
yeah, that's only maybe Podrick shows up. Who knows? Don't kill him, my lady. You know, I don't know. But they could pull something off. You know, who knows? So yeah, I guess that does it with that. Let's get to the main shit now. Jon Snow. Um, this was a season where he actually became Lord Commander, right? Like they had that whole like thing, like the votes and stuff, or was that last season? I'm getting it mixed up now.
I think it was the end of last season. I want to say,
Yeah, but
but I'm not. Yeah, well, I know it was. I know it was in Storm of Swords where it happened.
yeah,
But
actually
I'm pretty
no,
sure it was season 4.
I'm wrong. It was in the beginning of the season, like they had the votes and stuff, and Sam gave that speech, and then they made that other guy look stupid. Um, but yeah, he became Lord Commander, and the first thing he does is like, okay, I'm going to bring the wildlings here, and they weren't happy about that. The Night's Watch, obviously, their whole objective is to kill wildlings, and Ali, John's assistant, his family was murdered by wildlings, so he was not happy about that at all. And by the way, since we're just not going in linear order, as soon as that happened, I'm like, I bet you Ali's going to be one of the guys that fucking stabs him, and he
Yeah.
was.
They kept doing all those close-up scenes to Ollie, like with pissed off face Ollie. They need to do
Yeah.
like a lot of memes with that. But yeah, like
Yeah. Go ahead.
like so to me, John was like the best character of the season. Like I think I felt he was the strongest. I guess obviously until the end, but he did the right thing. I mean, I think any wise commander would do it. But then when you think about it, the Night's Watch is composed of crooks and murderers and rapists
Yeah.
and people who just got left on the wayside. So they're not the smartest people
Or loyal.
or loyal. Yeah,
There's one scene I forgot what episode it was, but it was one of those things like, damn it, John, you have it. It's within your grasp. Stannis is like, hey, I could make you John Stark, make you an actual noble, and I'm like, at that moment, I'm like, man, you should take it, but considering what happened to Stannis,
it
maybe
was
it's
the
good
right
that
thing.
yeah. But the thing is, John, he's like I was gonna say father, but then I was gonna say he's like his uncle. You know, he's an honorable dude. You know. And by the way, I want to talk about that real quick because they started talking about Rhaegar and Lyanna in this season. You notice that, right?
Oh yeah.
I think they're starting to build it up.
Yeah, apparently people who watch the show already have delved deep into the R plus J equals L or R plus L equals J theory. Don't Google it if you don't want to get theory spoiled.
Don't you think it's cool though that the people who watch the show independently came up with that as well? That's fucking great.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been talking about this shit for years now, and people are like catching on. And it's like now we can discuss it with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I still go with that. That Jon Snow is Rhaegar, and Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark's son. Basically, because the thing is, Ned Stark is too noble. He's not gonna go cheat on his fucking wife. You know.
Yeah, man. That's how I felt. And like that whole Littlefinger scene with Sansa and the crypts was about Lyanna and stuff, and how Rhaegar gave her the rose and stuff. So it's everything is just pointing to that being true.
Yeah, it's definitely, and we'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, Jon Snow, the first thing he was like, okay, I'm gonna go get the wildlings, bring them here, and hopefully they can help us. When the shit hits the fan. But it seemed like the shit hit the fan when they got up there. Fuck, man.
Man.
You saw that one fucking White Walker. My man was like, bring it.
It's like, what up, son?
That was fantastic. That whole scene was just great, man. I love the little subtle things they did. Like you had a hut that was on fire, right? So as that White Walker comes, that fire goes out. It's like shit.
Yeah, man.
And then you learn that his sword, I'm forgetting the name of it. It's made out of Valyrian. Yeah, it's Long Claw. It's made out of Valyrian steel, and it's able to kill White Walkers. Yeah,
it's one of the strongest metals. Like, I guess it's the strongest metal ever created. It's like adamantium, or
yeah. But the thing is about because remember, it's Valyrian steel, and how do you make Valyrian steel? Dragon fire. So there you go. Dragon glass, same thing. It's kind of made out of dragon fire. So you need that specifically to kill White Walkers, which is why I predict during the last season or last book, you're gonna have those 3 fucking dragons just raining fire on these guys.
Oh man, I could just imagine that and friggin' watching it, man. That's gonna be crazy.
And the show could pull it off now because remember the first couple of seasons, the special effects are kind of wonky. But now it's like, yeah, they could pull this shit off. I mean, Hard Home, fucking the episode with what's the name of the episode with Daenerys and and Drogon flying around?
Dance with Dragons.
Dance with Dragons. Those 2 episodes alone show you that they could pull this shit off easily. Fucking amazing. So yeah, the whole thing, which is great. Jon Snow, man. I want to get into some theories because obviously we saw him. I don't know if you ever read the book, Carlos, or saw the movie Julius Caesar.
Yeah,
that was Julius Caesar all the way. Like I expected him to go et tu, Ali. Like he had that face though. Like, oh shit, you too.
So who was Brutus and who was Cassius?
All right, I guess Brutus would be maybe Alistair, maybe. I have to think about that one
because they weren't really close to John. I guess that's the only thing.
No, they weren't close to him. That's the thing. Though.
In the books, I mean, it would.
Okay, it was Brutus was Ali, right?
Yeah.
And who was Mark Antony? We're getting too deep into another book, but anyway, yeah, and that was a fucked up way of luring him out too. Yo, we found Benjen, man. We got him.
He was in the previews. It's like, what? Are we gonna see Benjen? I'm like, and then because every time I watch Game of Thrones, I kind of look at the time and I'm like, man, it's only 5 minutes left, man. I want more. And then it was the John scene, and I'm like, oh, Benjen. I'm like, here we go. Let's just wait. How are they going to kill him?
By the way, even though I didn't advertise this, we have 1 viewer, so thank you. Tweet me let me know who you are. So yeah, man, that was fucked up. So they stabbed him, and then you see him bleeding out, and people were pissed. They're like, fuck, you killing another one. But now we can start speculating because this is where it gets fun. If
He's
he
not dead.
is okay, here's the thing. If there's several ways he could get out of this. The one I thought he was going to do from reading the books is he would warg into his wolf. You know,
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen. I changed my mind on it. I think they're going to burn him, and that will resurrect him because he is a Targaryen.
So the working part, I kind of agreed with you but in the book context, because in the book context,
In the book, yeah,
John is more in line with Snow, and he kind of has those dreams. But yeah, I think that's out of the show. The one that I thought was going to happen was, or is going to happen, or could happen, is Melisandre maybe resurrecting him, kind of like how Thoros did Beric Dondarrion.
here's the thing about Melisandre. Even though she does have power, I don't see her. I mean, this is going off the books, obviously, but she seems like the least powerful practitioner of that stuff. Like Thoros of
Right.
Myr, he was really good, and then the dude that was with Victorian, like this dude was like the real
Man,
fucking deal. Yeah,
he was a beast. But remember, I think it was season 2 or 3, when Melisandre goes to the Riverlands to go get Gendry.
yeah.
She stumbles on Thoros of Myr, and she's like, so I think they discussed about how like him bringing Beric back to life all these times. So maybe that she kind of
Maybe.
like investigated on that stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to be a mixture of two things because remember how Daenerys was reborn in fire because she's she's of the dragon, the blood dragon or whatever. So you have that, and then mix it in with the Azor Ahai thing. You know, like that's
Right.
how he's going to be. Like he is. How do you spell Azor?
Azor Ahai, I think.
Azor Ahai. So he's both. He is Azor Ahai because he is Targaryen. So I'm leaning towards that now. So I think when they burn him, to cover up the evidence or whatever, to keep him from coming back, he's going to be reborn in fire.
But the homeboys just left him there. He was just
So Melisandre's going to have to do it. But the thing is, here's where it gets interesting. Kid Harington will not be coming back to the show next season.
So he says. He said as far as I know, or as far as what the showrunners told him, he won't be back.
No. Remember, again, this is just like with the gaming industry. You gotta listen to what they don't say. He said he will not be back next season. Doesn't mean he won't be back on the show.
I really hope you're wrong, because you know how the showrunners have
too. I hope I'm wrong too, man.
The showrunners say they want to finish this show in 7 seasons, and if they skip season 6 with what could be the main character of the whole show, that'll just be I can't see that happening.
By the way, something interesting. This news came out today. They announced a panel for Game of Thrones, right? Comic-Con.
Yeah.
None of the showrunners are there. None of them.
Oh,
they're
always there.
They're always there. This is the first year. It's only cast members, no showrunners. Probably because they don't want to get bombarded with questions. And Kit Harington is not going to be there either. And characters that die typically show up at these things.
You know who else wasn't there?
Who?
Mr. George Railroad Martin. He's good. He needs to finish that book.
He's busy typing, man, on that old school computer of his. I forgot what computer he uses, but he uses some shit from like 1994 or something still to this day.
Yeah, man.
But by the way, talking about this, I completely forgot about fucking Arya.
Oh,
because that was pretty interesting. She had a like an interesting character arc herself. It didn't end very well for her because she, there's the thing is she went to Essos to, I guess, become nobody, and she still held on to the whole Arya Stark thing. Like, remember, he's like, you got to get rid of all your possessions. She dumped everything in the river except for one thing, except for Sting. She hit him. He hit the sword. Needle. Why do you call him Sting? Who the fuck? Which one is Sting?
Lord of the Rings. That's the
damn it.
The one that poisoned Frodo, I think.
Yeah, the glowy one. Okay, Needle. She hit Needle, and then as soon as she saw I forget the guy's fucking name, the pedophile.
Chicken.
No, not Jack and Hagar. The guy,
Oh,
the
Marin Trent.
Mirren fucking Trent. And I have a theory. I think that was a test. I think they put her on that assignment because they knew Mirren Trent would be around.
Interesting.
And that was a way of testing her, and she failed. The guy, Jack and Hagar.
Yeah.
We don't know who the fuck this guy is. He was just like, hey, you took something away from the undying God, whatever the fuck his name is. So we got to take something away from you as punishment. They took away her fucking vision.
That shit was crazy. Is that Jaggin Hagar face the one that we know as Jaggin Hagar? Is that like the default face, like the default avatar for whenever you make a profile in the face of Sven?
I guess it's like the default character,
Yeah, but I kind of disagree about Arya. So I think she didn't go to Essos to be nobody. I kind of felt like she went to Essos to be a faceless man, to have all these faces and stuff so she can kill. But I don't know if she
actually, you know what, you're right about that. She did, but to become that, you need to become nobody,
right.
So
I
she
think that's the
failed at
part.
that.
I think that's the part she forgot, or she doesn't know what she has to do. She doesn't know that sacrifice she has to do to become a faceless man.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously I think she wants to do that so she get. It's funny because the thing is, if you want to become a faceless man, you have to let go of who you were. But she's doing all that so she can get revenge on everybody on her list.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's like, yeah,
that kill with Marin Trent, man, that was some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, she stabbed both his eyes out. Ironically enough,
Ironically, yeah.
And then she just kept like stabbed him just enough, where he would still be alive, and then she just slices his fucking throat. Mirror Trent is a motherfucker, man. Like they would bring these hot girls, too young. Then he brought a 12-year-old. It's like, there we go, and he like tortured and beat her. It's like, damn, this guy's fucked up.
Yeah, they wanted to build him up so people would like not sympathize when he gets like all messed up by Arya.
Arya's cold-blooded. But I think we pretty much covered all the main ones. But yeah, season 5, I think it is safe to say that is easily even though it's still good overall, it was the weakest season of the series by far. And I knew that was going to happen, but just by the storylines, it was going to be the weakest because it's mostly set up.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the main things is setting up that the White Walkers are the main threat of the whole story. So they kind of set that up fine, but now it's getting down to business how we're going to, like, what the final path to the end road is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, okay, I know in the next book, they're going to have, like George Martin says, that it's going to open up with 2 battles, right? We already had one of them in the book, the Winterfell battle. The other one's going to be Marine. But the thing is, I don't know if that's a battle exactly. That just seems like, actually, it's not a battle at all in the show because remember, there was an entire army outside of Marine in the books. They were going to storm the place. That's not happening in the show at all.
Yeah, that's not happening. So what's the other battle going to be?
Well, okay, the 2 battles that we're going to see in the book are the Winterfell battle and the battle for Marine. But we already had one of those in the show. We saw how that ended, and the Marine battle isn't even set up yet. Right. And then I'm wondering, is the show even going to touch on the Iron Islands thing?
So I think, I don't know Iron Islands specific. So let me trace back real quick. So the whole Stannis plot about him trusting Melisandre because everything came true of all the things she said. One thing didn't come true, as we know, and that's Balon Greyjoy is still alive.
He's still alive. He should have fucking died. Remember, he fell off a fucking bridge or something. But yeah, so right. In the show, he's still alive. It's weird.
He's still alive, so that didn't come true. And they had casting news like for someone that might resemble Victorion or Euron Greyjoy, one of the brothers, one of Balon's brothers. So we might get some more Greyjoy stuff. I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be the Victorion stuff or it's gonna be the Euron stuff.
That's the shit I want to see Victorion, man. That was my favorite chapter in the entire book. It really, I read that shit twice. I'm like, I gotta read that again. That was fucking great. You know?
Yeah, man. He's a beast.
Yeah, he is. Because like then yeah, like wasn't he fucking dudes up with like one hit or something with his like didn't he have like a giant mace or something crazy like that?
I think so.
Yeah, like, I know he had a ridiculous type weapon, and then like he was really like I guess devout, like to his drowned god, but at the same time he's like, hey, listen, if that other god wants to sacrifice, we'll give it to him. We're gonna get two for one.
I remember that.
That was my favorite scene, yeah, because like they captured a ship full of like whores, right? And he picked the prettiest ones, and you're like, okay, he's gonna fuck them all. No, he puts them on a boat and he burns that shit. He's like, all right, that's for the burning god, and that's for the drowned god. Let's go.
Yeah, so they might get into the Greyjoys stuff next season, and I think they're gonna get Randall Tarley too. So that
Randall
might get interesting.
Speaking about oh yeah, Randall. That's right. He hasn't showed up at all.
And he's inside with the Tyrells, so that he might factor in with the whole King's Landing stuff.
Yeah, I'm forgetting the guy's name. He's a Tyrell too. He's the guy that got sent to Essos for the bank. What's his name again?
Oh,
that's Marjorie's father, right?
Yeah, the dim-witted guy.
That's why I want to bring up the stupidest man in Westeros. This guy is like a goofball, man. Like,
he's living the life to the fullest, man. He's happy as hell. He's enjoying everything. He's singing.
That's what I'm saying. This guy is dim-witted as hell, man. I just find that funny. He's on the small council and he's just a yes man. Basically. Oh, Robert Strong.
Oh man.
That was that. Yeah, because everybody knew who he was. Obviously, you saw his fucking eyes. Like, damn, this is a fucking zombie. He's obviously the mountain. Resurrected by damn, forget it, Qyburn.
Yeah, Qyburn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. His first fight's gonna be in the trial. I'm pretty sure she's gonna demand a trial by combat. Cersei is, because the Faith Militant are part of the Seven, so they kind of are down with that trial by combat shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the way it was kind of funny the way they introduced him. I was like, oh yeah, you just walk through the streets. By the way, look at this guy, meet him.
Just carries her.
And I like how he had the little scarf. It's like, oh, I know what you're hiding.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know where that's going to go. We don't even know that in the books where that's going to go.
Yeah. Just a side note, a lot of people who watch the show aren't going to know this, but to me, some of the things that they cut off from the books in this season, and I don't know if you agree, but that I knew they weren't going to be there, but I was disappointed that they weren't, because they were my favorite stories. And I'll just say that, like, kind of like one of the key names, they're not the real name, is the young Griff story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? I love that part of the books, and Quentin.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember.
Oh man, Quentin.
That story, man, was it was. He's not gonna. I have a feeling. Okay, this is crazy, but I have a feeling. What if, like, part of Doran's master plan is like Quentin, like, still being alive?
Yeah, because
or like actually existing, and he just never brings him up.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all know how. Actually, people who read it, we all know what happened to Quentin. That whole thing was funny to me because it's like, oh, it just ends like that. Okay. The young Griff, obviously. Here's the thing. Here's what bothers me about the young Griff thing. If it isn't important in the show, does that mean it's not important in the book?
Yep, that's another thing. Yeah, like, because I guess we're talking in code right now, but this story has a potential to be super important.
Yeah, extremely important. Yeah,
but since it's not in the show, to the book readers, it's kind of telling us it's not really that important.
Yeah,
it might be a farce.
Yeah, and if it's a farce, then it's a waste of papers. Basically, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Oh, by the way, casting news. they hired someone. They said they want them to be around 35, 40 years old and a great warrior. They're gonna play a legendary hero on the show, and people are speculating that it's Arthur Dane.
Arthur Dane.
So if it's Arthur Dane, dude, that's Jon Snow, man. Let's just be real.
The whole So I wonder how we're gonna get that. Are we gonna get that through Bran?
I don't know. I mean, remember they had the Cersei flashback, so you could do a normal flashback.
But that's
Cersei was a little bitch too when she was little, man. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and they skipped, and that witch who gave her the prophecy skipped the most important part, in my opinion. About talking about the Polanco.
Yeah, exactly.
They forgot that in the books, but
because if they would have mentioned that, right, like it would give you a reason. Oh, that's why she hates Tyrion.
Yeah. But I guess
there's some shit they missed. I don't know
some stuff. And it's crazy because you know how we're talking about some pointless scenes. There's so many scenes in the book that they could have used that are really important. I mean, some stuff I understand they cut off. The whole Sansa stuff. I understood why they kind of put her in Winterfell, but because in the book she's just in the Vale the whole time.
The whole time. They gave her a purpose. Same thing with why they put Tyrion in
Tyrion and Marine.
Yeah, exactly. Just to give him something to do. But I still believe Tyrion will get to that
there. Yeah, I agree.
I think we pretty much covered it.
Any predictions?
Oh, this is where it gets interesting because now the book fans and the show fans are at the same spot. Okay, predictions. You know what? I'm going to go with you. Even though they say Kit Harington's not coming back, he's coming back next season. I think he will be revealed, maybe not as Azor Ahai, but he will be he'll learn his parentage, especially if Arthur Dane shows up. But I think he's done with the Night's Watch. He's not going to be any part of the Night's Watch anymore. I think he's done with that. Arthur
Dane is dead, by the way.
I know. That's why it's got to be a flashback.
Oh, okay.
Because remember the book. It was 7 men. There's Ned Stark, Howland Reed, and they had 2 other men, and then they face off against 3 of the Kingsguard. One of them being Arthur Dane, the Morning Star. So that's all gonna have to be a flashback. But that's what the casting said. A legendary hero, and Arthur Dane was a legendary fucking hero.
Was a huge what is a sword? That sword.
Yeah, the Morning Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the casting call for. It's you will have a great sword. It's okay, I think I know who this is. And if you want to get into Jon Snow's parentage, you have to have Arthur Dane in there. You can't have it without him. So I think the whole thing's a farce. That he will be back, but he will no longer be a member of the Night's Watch.
Well, his watch ended.
His watch ended. But the thing is, what will he do? Will he try to exact revenge for his uncle, or will he fight the White Walkers? I don't know. Or maybe something crazy. Maybe he goes to fucking Essos. Who knows? The door's open.
Please don't go to Marine.
Yeah. Quick thing. Shout out to Sam for getting lucky. That was a very awkward sex scene. When he, bye. Remember that?
Hey, man. I mean,
hey, listen, I know
he had it coming, man.
Yeah, Gilly's a little rough around the edges, but she ain't bad looking, man. You go for yours. For Sam, that's probably the best he could do. So
it's a long road to Old Town, man. That's all I gotta say. A lot of inns they gotta visit.
Mm-hmm. Actually, they can just sail. They're gonna fuck in the boat. That's what they're gonna do.
That too.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, prediction. What were your predictions?
I think so. Obviously, I think Jon Snow is gonna come back. I think he's gonna come back. I'm gonna say episode 2 of season 6. That fast. I don't think he's not gonna come back at the end of the season. That's too much. Not showing Jon Snow. Episode 3 at latest. So I think within the first 3 episodes, we might get some Bran stuff where they discover what his
Yes,
lineages.
Bran needs to come back because remember they didn't even the books they went further than what we
Yeah,
showed in the show. So yeah, we got to have that and we got to see him using his powers with the werewolves and stuff.
yeah. A lot of flashbacks, a lot of potential flashbacks.
Yes, fill in a lot of those gaps, man. Just saying.
Yeah, so he might. I think he'll be back. John will be back within the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I have a feeling he's gonna group up with Melisandre and Davos. I just Davos doesn't have anything to do. We know in the books what his task is. I have a feeling that that task is going to be assigned to him by John and not by Stannis.
Ooh, find Rickon, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, people go, who's Rickon? The little Stark kid. People forgot about him.
yeah, man. Everyone's forgotten about him.
Yeah, of course, you know what'll happen though. They find Rickon. He's like, "Hey, I'm Rickon. How you doing?" He'll be a big ass dude. You know, they have to recast him as a little guy. Oh, by
Yeah,
the way, that's one thing I want to bring up. The show makes it very clear that many years have passed. Because remember, in the book, it's only been 3 years. In the show, they're trying to make it seem like it's been longer than 3 years. And I'm kind of glad they did that. Even though if you try to dissect it, it probably won't work. But it's good to say that because look how Tommen is. Look how Arya is. Years have passed. You know.
yeah. Even Daenerys. Daenerys is supposed to be like 15 or
Yeah,
something
so
like that.
I'm glad they mentioned that. Like, was it Marcella? She was like, "I've been living in Dorne for years."
Yeah,
It's true, she has.
and she got sent off like in what season two,
Two,
three?
season two, yeah. That was when Tyrion was still hand at the king.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, what are the predictions? I
you
don't know what's
think?
gonna. I'm thinking about King's Landing. What's gonna happen there? I think they're gonna eventually get to where the book is, where Kevin because Kevin is now in charge, and Kevin. I don't want to spoil too much here, but Kevin is actually a very competent guy. So if you want chaos, you may not want him around. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, there might be. I'm guessing there might be like a civil war.
Oh man, I could see that happening, a civil war within King's Landing, but would that also mean a civil war within? Because there's think about it, the realm's been in a civil war for a few years now. It just now finally got its shit together after Robb Stark was killed. That was a civil war.
Yeah,
So yeah, things aren't looking good over there either, man. Because you know they're short on food. I predict by the end of the season, the White Walkers are finally going to be a real threat. They're going to finally invade. I think that's what's going to happen.
yeah, I think so too. I think if I don't, I honestly I don't see them finishing the story in 7 seasons, but I do see the White Walkers, like you said, like crossing or actually fighting people on the other side of the wall by the end of the season. I hope so.
Yeah, I think we'll see that. If the show's 7 seasons, then yeah, they have to have it. They have to have it. But yeah, as far as the other kings, um, I wonder if they're gonna, like reveal to the entire populace, like, hey, King Tommen, he doesn't have any legitimacy at all. You know.
Yeah, and they one other thing, do they still have that Lady card on the, like still under their sleeve? So I don't we know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they said that's not going to happen. So who knows? And that's another thing. We don't know if that's going to play out. That's okay. Going back, remember how we talked about how the whole Griff thing, it not being there, shows you that maybe it's not important. Maybe the same thing with Lady.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like if they take her out, it's like I guess that isn't important then.
Yeah. I just that
George,
was
right. We just write the book. So hurry up. Just write the fucking book, please.
yeah, man. Get it over with. Send me a
But
first draft.
yes, but it's like I said, it's the weakest season of the series, but it still beat the shit out of most TV easily. So it was still good, especially those last 3 episodes. Holy shit,
Yeah, this is top notch quality TV, man. Some of the
definitely,
best.
definitely.
But yeah,
All
can't
right.
wait till next season.
Oh yeah, we'll be back for that. I don't know what format we'll have. I don't know if we're gonna do like 3 episodes like we did now, or maybe full. Who knows? But we'll be back in some capacity. So once again, I was your host Tony Polanco, and I was joined by Carlos Romero.
Later, people.
All right, people. Later.